In a small village at the foot of the great baobab tree, there lived a woman named Abeni. She was known throughout the village, not for her beauty, but for her laziness. While other wives went to the fields and fetched water, Abeni would sleep under the shade, claiming the sun made her tired. Her husband Kofi, a hard-working farmer, grew weary of her idleness, but loved her too much to complain. One day, Kofi received a gift from his brother, a stubborn goat named Nuru. He came home and called out, "Abeni, come and see the goat my brother brought us." Abeni lazily walked over, eyeing the animal with disdain. "What am I supposed to do with this creature?" she asked, crossing her arms. "You don't have to do much," Kofi replied, stroking the goat's neck. "Just tie him up near the house and let him graze. He won't give you trouble." Abeni sighed and muttered under her breath, "Even tying a goat is too much work." Kofi frowned but softened his voice. "Please, Abeni, I work hard enough in the fields. Just do this one thing." Grudgingly, she agreed. "Fine, I'll tie him up, but don't expect me to keep running after him all day." The next day, Abeni, too lazy to find a proper rope, tied Nuru to a weak vine and went back to sleep. When she woke up, the goat was gone, and with him, all of Kofi's prized yams, which he had been storing under the kitchen hut. Panic struck her heart like a spear. She ran into the village, frantically searching for the goat and crying out, "Help! Nuru has eaten all the yams. What will I do?" The village elders, sitting under the big mango tree, turned to her and asked, "What happened, Abeni?" "Nuru, he's gone. He took all the yams with him," she wailed, almost in tears. One of the oldest men shook his head slowly. "Abeni, a lazy person always loses more than they save." "But what should I do now?" she pleaded, eyes wide with fear. "Go and find the goat," another elder said sternly, "or prepare to face your husband's anger." Terrified, Abeni searched for hours but found no trace of Nuru. As the sun set, she returned home empty-handed. When Kofi arrived, he noticed the missing yams and turned to Abeni. "What happened, Abeni?" he asked quietly. Her voice shook as she spoke. "Nuru, he ate the yams and ran away." Kofi stared at her, his expression unreadable. Then, without a word, he took the few remaining yams and walked out of the house. Abeni ran after him, calling, "What are you doing?" Kofi calmly handed the yams to the village children who played nearby. "Eat, little ones," he said, smiling gently. Abeni stood in shock. "But what about our dinner?" Kofi turned to her, his face serious. "Abeni, lazy hands will always bring an empty stomach." That night, as hunger gnawed at Abeni's belly, she realized her laziness had left her empty-handed, just like the vine she tied Nuru to. From that day on, she worked harder than anyone in the village, for fear that even a single loaf of bread would slip through her fingers like the goat had. And so the villagers whispered, "A lazy wife learns quickly when she's left with nothing but regret."